in our world. And we also appreciate men that respect women, that respect humanity. And I think we've got a brilliant man that's going to be coming up to talk to us this morning. He is a trainer, a teacher, an author, and a speaker. He serves the body of Christ through his unique ability to communicate complex theoretical truths through simple yet profound illustrations. While addressing the practical issues of today, Steve is known as a relevant expositor. Men and women alike regard him as a relevant teacher and father of the faith. Through fitness and dream body fitness, he promotes a kingdom agenda, a philosophy that teaches God's comprehensive rule over every sphere of life, as demonstrated through individual, family, community, church, and society. His philosophy connects biblical spirituality with social responsibility. Steve teaches that the church and gym are the best social service delivery systems, since they're closer to the needs of the people. They offer the largest potential volunteer service force. They also have facilities for outreach programs and provide a moral and spiritual frame for reference for making the right choices. At the heart of his vision is the use of the gym and school partnerships to effect spirituality and social change in communities. Steve's gym and schools outreach philosophy has been attributed as a catalyst for change. Steve seeks to train churches, schools, volunteers in this philosophy, as well as in the functional practicalities through men of honor and women of purpose initiatives. Ladies, and children, please join me to welcome Mr. Steve Malulu. I need big cheers. Ladies,
Richard, how are you doing? I mean, what the Benetta said there is unbelievable. I don't think I can add anything on top of what she said. She's clearly illustrated that give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give unto God what belongs to God for you to be successful. And she's clearly shown us that the tail shall become the head, and the end shall lead, and the stone that was turned away ended up becoming the cornerstone of the building. Now, we all have different relationships with Dr. Krista here, and they're all interwoven in goodness. We've all met in different circumstances when we're in different parts of our lives. When it comes to life, you can never enjoy the mountaintop if you're afraid of the valleys, because how you handle your breaking point determines your breakthrough. And you can never ever wish for faith if you're not ready for trouble, because faith is built in tough times. And in most cases, what will you do when the storm you're asking God to take away, that storm is God himself? Because in most cases it happens. So the other day, Dr. Krista called me and she asked me if I believe in free speech. And of course I said yes. She said, come give one. so I'm standing here today. And as we've said, we've been given a limited time which we want to try and do the best we can. I will try and be as short as a miniskirt. I will be short enough to create excitement, but long enough to cover the subject matter. So I will take you first. First of all, I have to thank the fabulous Graduates, well done. But I have to give a big hand to the esteemed sponsors. And of course, the honorary mentors. Everybody's playing a very big role. But I will take you back to the very, very beginning. In the very beginning, God created Adam and Eve. And Eden was beautiful. It was a leafy suburb where everything was perfect. And when it comes to creation, we find that when God created Adam, He created them as equals, but with different functions. And then all of a sudden, Eve listened to the whisper of the serpent. And the whisper of the serpent convinced Eve that if she can have a bite of the forbidden fruit, her life will change. She'll become as clever as who? She'll become as clever as God Himself. But at that very point, when Eve took a bite of that fruit, the impact of that bite is lasted to the modern woman today. Because the reason why Eve took the bite is because the serpent knew that she was doubting who she was. And you as a woman in your times of doubt, that's when you're going to do things that turn you against yourself. From that point henceforth, up to now, where roles were very well defined and where peace reigns supreme, we've come to an area right now where unfortunately the roles for most women are very blurred. Most women are struggling to draw the lines between being a wife, being a mother, being a worker, being a daughter. And because there's that confusion, the relationship that Eve enjoyed with Adam, unfortunately, it's gone. We are at that point where, unfortunately, our relationship between man and woman is not right. And woman is trapped, just like that very time when the voice whispered to her that if you have a bite of this fruit, all of a sudden you'll become as wise and as clever as God. Woman is trapped at this point. If I had to take one thing from what Lady Veneta said there, one thing that worked to her advantage at those times, we didn't have Instagram queens. At those times, it was easier because you didn't have people around you to compare your life with. Because most of us, unfortunately, and most women, you'd always compare people's Hollywood highlight moments on social media with your own life. When you see people with picture perfect, photoshopped images online, and you look at your own life, chances are you think, why don't I have a husband like that? Why can't we go on holiday the way they do? Why am I the only unhappy in this relationship? So what I want to talk about today, I want to talk from tradition to transformation. I want to talk about the intrinsic value of a woman. Because a woman that does not know her own value will abuse herself. A woman that does not know her value will allow others to abuse her. And a woman that does not know her value will always attract the wrong man. I will go back to create your value as Eve was convinced in the very beginning, thinking that if she gets extra wisdom, she's going to be very valuable. But Eve's value was in her spirituality. Eve's value was in the creation. So I will take you back to the source I know most of you have your Bible, but you don't read it enough. So I'm going to take you to the book of Genesis, first chapter, 26th verse to the 28th verse. I'm going to use the New International Version, and I'll read quickly here. And then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. And that's one thing I need us to repeat there. In the 27th chapter, it says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them." Because most women, when we talk about creation and we talk about Adam, very few women see themselves in Adam. We're not talking about Adam as a man that is defined by his anatomy. We're talking about Adam as a creature that is got male and female. Where is Eve when Adam is being created? It's inside, right? So did Eve have to look for a husband? Where was the husband? Where was the husband? So who provides the husband? So why are we busy looking? Yeah. So if we go there and we look at it like that, if God created Adam and Eve was inside Adam, let's look at that from a very different perspective now. God says, let's create in our own image. He didn't say duplicate. What is an image? If I take a mirror and hold it in front of you, what are you looking at? You're looking at an image. Are you looking at a duplicate or an image? What's the difference? What's the difference? The image is exact. The image is exact copy. I can get a duplicate Nike shoes from where? From? Is it the real thing? But it looks like? How will I know it's a phone call? How will I know? Quality. What else? Price. Now if he was created from the image and the likeness of God, right? Image and the likeness of God. And then he goes ahead and he gives instructions. So I'll finish this here. He says, God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it." Now after creation, God gave them commands. And the first thing that God gave them is dominion. What is dominion? Dominion is rule, it's reign, authority. You cannot be a leader if you're stupid. We've seen what stupid leaders do. Right? You cannot be a leader if you... Now, for you to have dominion, there are specific instructions that we are given. The first one there is you have to be fruitful. You have to be fruitful. Where does the fruit come from? Where does the fruit come from? What comes first, the fruit or the seed? So why doesn't God say be seedful? Why is he telling us to be fruitful? Where's the seed? Because the choice of words is very specific. We shouldn't just listen to what we want to listen to. We have to choose and listen to the words that we've been given. So why is God saying be fruitful? He cannot ask you to be fruitful until he's given you what? Where's the seed? Inside. And what needs to be done to the seed for it to be fruitful? It needs to be planted. What's the difference between planting and burying? burying. How do you know? What's the difference between me burying a seed in the ground and planting it? What's the difference?
There's a certain criteria that you must follow when you are planting.
Your Highness, tell me. What do I need to do? What's the difference from a distance?
Soil.
Yeah?
Prepare the soil.
I prepare the soil.
Water it.
I need to water it.
Fertilize
I
it.
need to fertilize it. But if I walk away without doing that, am I planting it? Now, whose job is it for you to plant your seed? When was the last time you watered your seed? Because you can't keep on expecting to be fruitful if you don't water your seed. So the first commandment for you to have dominion is, of course, to be fruitful. The second thing, we are told to multiply. Now you are here right now planting your seed. And sooner or later, of course, starting now, we can see the fruit of your work. Now, according to kingdom dominion, now we need to multiply. And nobody does that better in the physical world than McDonald's. Right? Nobody does that better than McDonald's. How did McDonald's start? How many hamburgers? How many hamburgers did McDonald's as a franchise start with? Now, how many do you think they started with? Anybody else? One. They had to start with one, right? They had to get that one right. So McDonald's started with one hamburger. He made that seed to be fruitful. And then with one hamburger, what did he do? To multiply. How does McDonald's get so many of the hamburgers, selling 1 million hamburgers a day all over? What did they have to do? Franchise. Now, how are you going to multiply yourself? How are you going to multiply your seed? By building? By building others. What is the third commandment? Be fruitful, multiply, replenish. How do you replenish your resources? How do you replenish your resources? What happens if you keep on constantly just giving? What happens if you go on the side of the road, take out your wallet, take your whole monthly salary, turn it into 10 rands and start giving it to everybody that drives past? What will happen to your money? So how do we replenish? Rest. What else? Now we're talking about dominion here. How do we replenish your intellect? Right? You have to be a student for life. She said it. The day you stop learning is the day you die. Dying has nothing to do with age. Most of us are already dead. We're just waiting to be buried. Right? Because the minute you stop learning, you're dead. You become irrelevant. And what is the last commandment? Subdue. McDonald's doesn't care who their competitor is. They don't have to do a due diligence and keep on asking where is Burger King. They don't care because they've done their job. Now let's apply this principle now to you as a woman. What is your value? Now your value is in your spirituality. For when God says, let us create man in our own image and our own likeness, what I hear him saying, God with all his power, because God's infinite wisdom and power cannot be separated. They come as a package. But God with his infinite power and his infinite wisdom, he had to bring himself down and put himself in the restriction of man's body so that he can be awake inside us. Do you realize how powerful that is? Which simply means that man is God asleep and God is man awake. That's how powerful you are. Now, because of Eve and because of whatever Eve was going through, we've ended up with 5 kinds of women in the world now. The first woman here is what I call the uninitiated woman. It's the woman that is constantly, she's got all this potential, but unfortunately, she's constantly doubting herself. Her life is of constant doubt, and that's a very terrible place to be. Then the second woman that we have now is the self-initiated woman. Kim Kardashian, housewives of Durban. Now these are women that say, you know what, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make it. She does make it in the real world, but deep inside she's empty. She's looking for success, but success that you get in things, unfortunately, does not give you eternal peace. The third woman is what we call the peer-initiated, sisters before bros. When they see you, they say, brother, stay there. We got this. Now, the problem with that kind of growth is it always lacks wisdom. It's us versus you. It was never meant to be like that. A woman is not my enemy. Neither am I supposed to be your enemy. We can only be better if we are a team. And then we have the last one here, the culture-initiated woman. This is the social media queen. This is Jane that has got a perfect image on social media. She's got 1 million followers. Everything is perfect. When you look at her, every other woman wants to be her and every man wants her. But Jane's tears always stream where? Inside. You can see it in her eyes. She's got all the external trappings of success, but she has no control over herself. But the woman that you are meant to be, the very woman that God created in the very beginning, is the spirit-initiated woman. It's the woman that lives with a purpose. It's the woman that knows that her value is not in things that she acquires, in things that she does, but her values is just in who she is as a God's perfect child. Her value is in her creation. We've always said that you never find a perfect woman in a place where there are no perfect men. And that perfect, the imperfect woman you always see, was made imperfect by an imperfect man somewhere. And mine is to remind you that you have a lot of work to do in yourself. And it's not about finding yourself, it's about remembering who you are. The prefix here is remembering who you are. You never lost the essence of who you are, because God created you from a part of himself. When we go back to creation, birds give birth to birds. Dogs give birth to fish gives birth to. Now, if God created you in his image and after his own likeness, when you're in that perfect state, when you are in alignment with your Maker, when you give birth, what are you giving birth to? What are you giving birth to? Because God didn't want to keep on coming back to earth when he wants to procreate. God created only out of that one creation, we have all these 8 billion people. Now you have to ask yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you handle yourself, do you respect the God in you? We live in a society, unfortunately, where the word bitch, and I'm sorry I'm not swearing, but it's so common. But when a man calls you bitch, what is a bitch? What is the definition of a bitch? It's a female? When a man calls you a bitch, the first person is abused is his mother. Because when a man calls you a bitch, and his mother gave birth to him, that makes him a dog too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But you can only attract a dog if you don't know who you are. The minute you understand that your value is intrinsic, the minute as you understand that your value is not based on the exposure of your physicality, where all of a sudden a woman has been turned to be something for entertainment on television, the less clothes you have on, the more Instagram followers you have. The more you twerk, the more of a star that you become. We live in a society where we have so many famous women, but we don't know what they're good at. We should not be sucked into that. Because as you walk out there, you're going to always remember, you're not only carrying the torch of your maker, but a piece of God lives in you. He created you from his own essence. He created you from himself. So whatever you achieved there, you going out there, not to be employed, but you being deployed as a missionary. Go out there and do God's work. Thank you very much.
So please, come on. Steve Malulu, thank you so much for the value of a woman. I think as we ponder on that, you don't have to sit down, we can all stand up. It's time to have a quick breakfast, ladies, gentlemen. We're serving breakfast, so you've got the time now to be able to go and have something small and